What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. If you're not subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, give this video a like, helps out the algorithm of the channel. But I won't waste a lot of time. We are going to be doing a transformation haircut in this video. My client was going off to the Air Force, so he wanted a bit more of a conservative look, so we transformed his entire look with a haircut, chopped off all of his hair, just getting to him something clean and simple. That way he can go into basic training, because basic training is something different than the regular world. They probably would roast his hair and all that stuff. So, you know, basic training is just crazy. As soon as you get off the bus, when you get to the base that you're going to for basic training, it's go time.
Let's go. Fire one behind you. Let me get the checklist. Put them down. Put them down. There's our paper seat, sir, as well. Pick them up. Proceed, sir. Put them down. Proceed, sir. Pick them up. Proceed, sir. Put them down. Proceed, sir. Pick them up. Proceed, sir. Proceed, sir. Proceed, sir. Proceed, sir. Pick them up. Proceed.
So just one less thing he has to worry about when he gets down there. Although in the first week of training, you do get your head chopped already. You get it knocked down to, like, you know, I think a half guard.
Y'all have moles or warts, locate them, a hair pump, whatever you got, let us know about them. White t-shirt, let's go. Come on, get in, get your glasses off. Everybody on that front row, move to your left. Second.
All the way around, so you're basically bald. But he just wanted something different before he headed out. So this was his last haircut before he went off to Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio. And I just think it's super dope, him taking up the call to go defend our nation and whatnot. I myself was in the Air Force for 5 years, so it's just kind of cool to see, you know, your clients, you know, your high school clients going off and joining the military, going to college, and just watching these kids grow up is just another perk of the job, another perk of being a barber, and just establishing that type of relationship with your clients. So, but I won't waste any more time. Let's get to this tutorial.
Look, I just flipped the switch. Turn on the beat.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. We back in this thing with another haircut tutorial, major transformation, cutting off all these curls. So you can see I'm going to work with them shears right here, knocking down as much bulk off the top as I can with the shears before I hit it with the clippers. So we're just getting all these curls knocked out the way, all the way around the head. Nothing too crazy. There's really no technique to this. You just want to stretch the hair out and get, you know, at the lowest point possible, and just do this all the way around the head and make sure that you're just keeping it even. That way it's less work for you to do when you get those clippers out and go with the grain. So for my client here, we're going to go ahead and knock his haircut down to a number 2 guard with the grain, which later on I do take it down to a 1.5, but I do start off with a 2 because I thought a 2 would be short enough, but it ended up not being short enough. But we got the number 2 guard on there, lever closed with the grain, and we're just knocking down this bulk. So we're gonna go ahead and hit him with a guard all the way around, and then after that we're gonna go ahead and knock out some high tapers on the temple area and also on the nape. Nothing too crazy. It's just the biggest thing with this haircut is just the transformation that is about to occur. You know, my man's been rocking the curls since I've been cutting his hair. I've been cutting his hair now for a little over 2 years now. So it's just, you know, crazy to see these kids grow up in your chair, like I said. So you know, actually almost 3 years, but it's just, you know, dope to be able to knock out haircuts like this and just change somebody's image completely. And that is what's going down right here with this haircut. Something totally drastic. Like I said, you know, he's gonna get knocked down to a half guard next week, or the week after this haircut, but you know, he just wanted a little something to rock with for the week he had left before he went to basic training. So that's what we're knocking out for him. Now I'm just taking it easy, just moving the clipper with the flow of the hair. We're going with the grain. And I get done with this haircut and I realize, well, not done with the haircut, but I get done with this number 2 guard and I do realize that it is not the desired length that I want it to be at. So I do end up taking it down to a half guard because a half guard just seemed a little bit more of a flow to the top. You know, there wasn't a lot of hairs protruding out, and so that's what we knock it down to eventually. But we're just taking it nice and simple with this 2 guard first, knocking down most of the bulk before we get to that half guard. Now you want to make sure in the crown area you are paying attention to what you're doing and make sure that you lay that hair down nicely in the direction that needs to go. I did put some hot lather on his head and I do go over it with a blow dryer and a brush to lay this hair down as much as I possibly can to get it down to the pattern, well, not the wave pattern, but just to lay it down in the direction that it needs to lay, you know, sort of as if we were doing a wave haircut. You want to make sure that the haircut flows, that, you know, everything is just moving together the way that it needs to. When you try to do something, you know, when you try to lay the hair down in a direction that it's not supposed to lay, you're going to get some, you know, some tension. You're going to get some roadblocks because, you know, that hair wasn't supposed to be laying that way. So you want to make sure that you're laying all the hair down the way that it naturally wants to lay. That way we can get a smooth top portion of his haircut. And you can see here there's a lot of hair still protruding, so that's when I go and take out that 1.5 guard and I start knocking down more bulk with the 1.5 guard after we do the hot lather. And this is just to get it smooth on the top. You know, that's our goal, is just to get it smooth up there to flow with what we have on the side of the head. Now the hair on the side of the head is not, I would say it's more of a 1 with the grain on the side of the head and not a 1.5, because he was just getting, you know, bald fades on the side with the curls on the top, so he switched that up. But everything's coming together. Everything's gonna be flowing together as we get deeper into this tutorial here. Right now we're just laying down the groundwork, the foundation for the haircut that we want this to eventually look like, and that's the goal. Now you can see I'm pointing here. We went with the 1.5 guard, and I had to point out an area where we had a line of demarcation, and that right there is what we're trying to knock out. So I'm working at this area on the ridge with my clipper, and I eventually get down to a 1 guard is what I have on the clipper right now. And I'm just trying to blend this area in with that 1 guard close, just going with the grain and attacking it, going towards the front of the head. Now you can see it's softening up that line a lot, but it's not totally gone like we want it to be. So we're just gonna keep working at it and try to knock this area out. You want to make sure that you are brushing the hair constantly, laying it down where it needs to go as you work with that clipper. Now I am using the Wall Premium Guards with the JRL 2020 F clipper. By far my favorite clipper in the game right now. This is basically the only clipper that I use. I do revert to my Babyliss every now and then, but the JRL is the clipper that I use the most at this time. Now right here we got the lever closed on this JRL. We're making our first line. We're laying down the foundation for our taper on the back, and we're making our bald line. Now after I make that bald line, I am going to open the clipper halfway, lever open halfway. We're going to make an area to fade out on this taper. Just make a little section that we can begin raising the fade in the back. Now after I open that lever, I'm going to go ahead and close that lever all the way, and we'll begin raising that taper up the back of the nape. So you can see me closing the lever here. Open it, we'll fade up a little bit, open it slightly, fade up a little bit, open slightly, until that area is completely faded out. Now if you watch a lot of my tutorials, you already know that, you know, I have the same system for every haircut that I do. You know, some things will be tweaked a little bit, but the foundations of my system are all the same. So now we have the 1 guard on there, and we're making a bigger area to fade into because I want to stretch this blend out on the back of the nape and get a nice and blurry transition. We want a lot of contrast in this fade. So by stretching our area that we're going to fade into, we create an area that's going to allow the blend to stretch that far. So that's about a 2-inch area I cleared out with that number 1 guard. And now I have that half guard, and we're just have the lever closed, fading up a little bit, open the lever slightly, fade up until we have this area all knocked out. So our half guard lever all the way open is going to be equivalent to our number 1 guard closed with the JRL clippers. And you can see here we are working around that occipital bone and making sure that we stretch out the skin and make sure we go against the grain and fade this area out completely. Now after I'm done with the half guard, I take that number 1 guard, I'm flicking out right there, and I'm going to open the lever, fade up a little bit more, open the lever, fade up a little bit more until we have that lever completely open with that number 1 guard. Now at this point I am unaware of what I have on the side, what size the hair is on the side, so I'm just working my guard system up, stacking guards until we fade into the bulk of the hair. And want to make sure that you are brushing as you're fading, because you want to make sure that you're feeding all that hair into the blades as you are doing this taper. Now next thing we got on there is our 1.5 guard, lever closed. We're flicking up into the bulk of the hair, and after we do this, we're going to open the lever slightly and now just lever play until we have, you know, the bulk of the hair all faded into that taper. We want to make sure that it's nice and blended. Take your time, go against the grain, brush the hair, do what you got to do to make sure that we have a nice transition. And you can see right here it's coming together. We're brushing the hair, it's all fading into each other, and that is exactly what we want. Nice and blurry taper. So it blended into the bulk of the hair, so now we're going to get to the edge of portion. In this video I am using the Slimline GTX with a Tune 45 power clip. Stay tuned because I am going to be doing a giveaway for these trimmers right here. So if you want to get some Slimline GTXs, stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. That's where I put out most of my information about how what giveaways I'm going to be doing and whatnot. But these GTXs are hitters, you know, straight out the box. I got them hitting. They make crispy lines, they balled out perfectly. But right now we got the magic pencil, the Barber magic pencil, the light brown color. We're just laying down an outline of where we're going to place some color enhancement on the nape area for the edge up. So I'm not going to touch that yet. We're going to get back to that portion later. But now we're going to go ahead and work on this taper on the left side of the head. We're going to make our initial bald line using our Slimline GTXs. We're going to bald out everything underneath that with that same trimmer. And I do like to take my tapers a little higher on the sides for this specific client, so that way all we have is the vertical bars and the front edge up to do. Now I have that JRL lever open, and we're going to create a panel of hair to fade into. We're going to open the lever slightly, fade up, open the lever slightly, fade up until this area is completely blended out. Just like that, it's nice and blended. That's one thing I love about tapers, is that it doesn't take too long to get that blend out if you got a system in place. So there's little areas that I see that are, you know, a little bit darker, so I am detailing those with the corner of my blade. And after we do that, we take that number 1 guard closed and create another panel of hair to fade into. Now after we make this panel of hair to fade into with the 1 guard closed, we are going to revert back to our half guard, and we're going to begin to lever play until we have this area completely faded out. Nothing too difficult, guys, nothing too crazy, but the details are what will separate your haircut from, you know, the haircut down the street or the haircut across the city. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the little details, and that's what'll separate your haircuts from the masses. So you can see here I'm stretching out the skin to make sure that we get a smooth transition, going against the grain, brushing the hair down. You know, we're just staying consistent with the system that I have in place, staying consistent with everything that I'm doing on the back taper, the other side taper, and just making sure we got everything good to go. Consistency is key. Consistency is what will keep clients coming into your chair. Just stay consistent, and people will love that about you. Your clients will love your consistency. Most of the complaints I get about people, other barbers, is that the other barber wasn't consistent. You know, they were a good barber, you know, they were nice, they had good customer service, but their haircuts weren't consistent. So you want to make sure that you are staying on top of that to keep people in your chair. So now we have that 1.5 guard lever playing, just blending that bulk of the hair into our taper that we got there. This taper is coming out nice, and after we get done with this portion right here, we will be going and attacking the other side. I will time lapse the other side because we're doing the exact same thing that we did on this side and the other side. But right here, I got the slimline GTXs, and we're edging up around the ear and connecting it to our nape tape edge up. And these slimline GTXs, the way the blade is, it really gets around the ears very well because of how wide that T-blade is and how much the blade overhangs the bulk of the blade. So now we got the time lapse on the opposite sides, doing the exact same steps we did on the left side and just attacking this. You want to make sure that you're doing the same exact steps because you want your tapers to be symmetrical. You don't want one side to be higher than the other. Your clients will tell. Your clients will see what side is higher, what side is not, and they will see the difference. So make sure you're paying attention to those little details. Now we're going to go ahead and attack this front edge up. And on this front edge up, I like to attack the center of the hairline first. Go to the left side of the hairline and bridge those two areas together, just like I'm doing here. Now, like by doing this, you're just connecting the dots, keeping it consistent. You're being able to trace a line from point A to point B. And then I attack that vertical bar. And after we do this left side, or the right side of his edge up, we're gonna go ahead and lay down some of that Barber Magic Pencil and outline to the hair color enhancement that we are going to add. Now, the same thing you do to the left side, you want to do to the right side. So I start off the middle and work my way to the right. After we do that, attack those vertical bars, get it knocked out. So you can see here, these GTXs, man, they're knocking out this edge up nice and crispy. We haven't even hit it with a razor. We haven't hit it with no color enhancement, and it's already there. Now, after we do this, I got that Sean Cuts Hair color card. I got the Tune 45 no drip color enhancement, which you could go buy both of those on tune45.com. Great tools to add to your arsenal. You don't want to lay down too much color though. You want to make sure that you keep it natural. And we're just laying that on there, laying it on the back nape tape edge up, staying consistent. Nothing too dark, nothing too light. You want to make sure that the color is laid down just right. Now you can see that Barber Magic Pencil is my barrier to where I'm laying that color. And once I'm done laying the color down, I'm gonna go ahead and blend out that Barber Magic Pencil using the GTXs and making sure we blend that harsh white line out and get it blended. And by using the Barber Magic Pencil, all you're doing is creating a barrier and using that barrier. And once you blend that barrier, you're using that to highlight your edge up and just to create some contrast between the edge up and the client's skin. And you can see I'm just kind of brushing and blending it out a little bit more that way as well. And then what we do to the right side, we're gonna make sure that we do to the left side and just keep everything uniform. But you can see right there, that taper is blurry. The side tapers are blurry. We got his hair completely transformed. His look is completely transformed. And you really can't ask for nothing more, man. Take pride in your work, take pride in the details, and you will have clients continually sit back in your chair. But we're using that blade to just kind of scrape away at that Barber Magic Pencil and blend it in. You don't got to push too hard or scrape too hard. You're just blending that in. You know, I didn't even recognize him after the haircut, man. It's just completely transformed. It's crazy what you could do with some clippers, a razor, a clipper, a trimmer, you know. And now we're gonna go ahead and go over all that with the razor on the vertical bars and make sure we get this edge up nice and crispy. But once again, like I said, shout out to my client for going off and joining the military, joining the Air Force. He's going to be going into security forces for the Air Force. But there's the haircut. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something from this video. Once again, you can go buy all those Tune 45 products at tune45.com. Let me know what y'all think of the haircut down in the comment section. Let me know what you learned, what you added to your arsenal. But there's a cut right there. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, and give this video a like. And until next time, God bless.